How's it going, everybody? Happy Monday. I hope you had a phenomenal weekend. I know I did, and can't wait to hear about all of yours whenever you come into the shop here at Mallett and purchase your building. But before that, as always, let's hop into the topics for today. Today we're going to talk about Truss and Verify. Mr. Darrell has an awesome topic for today going over trusses, and you'll find more about that here in a minute. But before that, as always, let's hop into Where's Mallett. This week we were in 91 different locations. We have 66 jobs in Louisiana, 23 in Texas, and 2 in Mississippi. That brings us to, again, a total of 91 different jobs going on all throughout this tri-state Gulf Coast area. Now, we're in this Louisiana, again, 66 jobs ranging from delivery, on the ground, in construction, inspections, forming, plumbing, concrete, electrical, HVAC, red tags, and gutters and control joints. We have, as you see here, everything from literally start to after the finish of the project, because we even go back and want to make sure everything is perfect when we sign off on everything. So that's where our red tags, any dings, any nicks in the metal, any scratches from construction or delivery, we're going to go back and get that fixed up. So that's what we have in our red tag section here, as well as gutters and control joints, which go on last. If you've had a building built, you know that process. Moving over to Texas, the same happening here. You can see we're surrounding the Houston area, making our way up to Tyler, over by the Waco area, heading towards Round Rock. And Mallett is just all over the map here in the South Coast region. We are very proud of our scheduling team. The logistics behind it is incredible, and we love to see all that they're doing. Now, we've seen Where's Mallett. Let's talk about why Mallett. This is such a fun topic on this one because it really shows the difference in what most people are building and what we at Mallett here are building. And I love going over these comparisons because it's just not everything is just the buildings. Some things are engineered a little bit more, but let's get into that and show you why. So the Rival series, like we said, is built on the industry standard, what we've seen most other builders constructing in the area, and that's going to be because we understand not everybody feels that they have a budget to build the best building. We want to let you know here at Mallett, we want to disprove that by showing you how easy it is to go from just a regular run-of-the-mill building to a truly engineered and made near perfect Mallett building. And this is what the Rival series is. It is that entry level into the Mallett build. Now, it's not a Mallett building, and what that means is it is not one of our classic, signature, or elite buildings. It is what we call the Rival series. As we said, it's built as a rival to the other industry standards. So let's hop into what this is. It's going to have 29 gauge metal, a 4-on-12 roof pitch, 2x6 common trusses, 130 mile-an-hour wind rating, no uplift control, so no cable lock system. That's again another big difference there. We're not going to have any post pads on the Rival. The posts are just going to go directly into the ground. You're going to have 2x8 headers, 3,000 PSI concrete, no ground protection, limited warranties, and then number 2, untreated generic lumber. Now, what is this going to give you? Not only it's going to give you the Rival series, but what is that? It's going to be a building that's going to get the job done. It's going to be a building on a budget, and as we all know, sometimes when we're sticking to a budget, you got to miss out on some of the premium features. Now, what I was talking about earlier, how we're going to disprove why it's too expensive to jump to a Mallett building or it's too expensive to get the premium quality, that's not always the case. Because for around $3,000, you can go from the Rival series to the Mallett Classic, which is our entry-level building. This is the base of what we do here at Mallett. It's the Classic for a reason. It's what started it all 27 years ago. And let's hop into what this is. Right off the bat, you're going to see that we have superior metal on all buildings across the board. That's going to be 26 gauge metal. It's thicker, more durable, and lasts longer than 29 gauge metal. We're also going to have a 5-on-12 roof pitch, which is very much more aesthetically pleasing. It's more reliable, and it's more, what's the word I want to use? It's more practical because the water and debris is going to shed off quicker and better on the 5-on-12 pitch. When the pitch is for every foot it goes across, that's the 12, it's going to go up 5 inches. So on a 30-foot building, you can do the math. That's going to be 30 times 5, 150 inches. So that's going to be a big difference on that pitch there. Mr. Darrell, if any of these numbers are wrong, please correct me. But as moving along, we're going to have a 2x6 cathedral truss. So on the Rival, you're going to get a flat truss. On the Mallett, you're going to get our signature cathedral truss that we make here in-house with our very own truss plant. Now, we're also going to have these trusses get third-party inspections done from multiple companies to ensure that we're doing everything from meeting code to meeting our own expectations and standards here at Mallett. You're going to have a 140-mile-an-hour wind rating on the building here. That's a 10-mile-an-hour jump from the rival. On top of that, you're going to get the Mallett cable lock system, which is a series of 1/8 inch aircraft cables that go from post to post around the entire building, horizontal, diagonal, all over the building, connecting each post. On top of that, you're going to have your 4-inch 4,000 psi concrete that's going to be poured on that. Underneath all of that, it's going to be a moisture barrier. So this combination of features is going to come together to form what's called uplift control. So say in a high wind scenario like a hurricane, and you have a door malfunction, a window breaks, whatever it may be, and that wind's going to rush in. It's going to have to find somewhere to go, and the way wind works, it's going to want to come up and out. That's going to create almost like a parachute effect or uplift. The cable lock system in association with the concrete is going to dead weight all that down on that cable lock system, holding your building in place, preventing it from being taken away by the hurricane, which is how we're proud to say after 27 years, we have 0 buildings lost to a hurricane thanks to the Mallett cable lock system. Now, you're going to have concrete under every post, as I mentioned earlier, in the form of a post pad. It's going to be an 80-pound bag of concrete that's poured into every hole. And so those 6x6 posts are going to rest on that concrete pad, giving it a stable, firm foundation, which prevents unwanted weird settling. It's going to prevent sinkage and moving of the post because it's got a firm foundation. You're also going to have double 2x12 headers. We mentioned the concrete. That's 4,000 psi concrete with microfiber reinforcement. We're also going to have skirt board guards for ground protection. We're going to have a 4-year workmanship warranty on the Classic. The Signature is going to have a 6-year, and the Elite's going to have a 10-year. Then we're going to have #1 MCA ground treated kiln dried lumber throughout the entire building from the base to the top. Yes, even the roof is going to have treated lumber, so you don't have to worry about any of those wood destroying insects or the elements tearing away at your wood. We're also going to have our in-house engineering oversight, you guys. What that means is we're going to have our team of engineers, because we are a licensed engineering firm at Mallett as well. They're going to be looking over the project from start to finish to make sure it's not only designed and drawn correctly, but it's built and engineered correctly to make sure you have the best possible product possible. And put all that together, and for a $3,000 difference, give or take a couple hundred, you can jump from a basic building that anyone and everyone else builds to the top tier premium best building in the country from the best builders in the country, the Mallett Classic building. And for $3,000, I mean, you can't even get the cable lock system for that. So to be able to jump up to all of this and have that premium base quality right there just for $3,000, guys, that's a steal to me, and I don't know why you wouldn't at least look into it. So let a building specialist explain a little bit more to you, because there's so many more features and benefits of a Mallett building as opposed to the rival or the competitors' builds. We just want a chance to earn your business and make sure you have the absolute best bang for your buck and the best building possible. Now, moving right along. If you are in the business of looking for a building, we want to make sure you understand that we offer $500 every day to anyone who is a healthcare worker, first responder, military personnel, or a teacher and educator, because we appreciate what you do for our community and those in it. So every single day, you can have $500 off your building just for doing what you do. Now, special offers, if you comment cash on a video just like this, you can get $1,000 off your next Elite or Signature building. So say you have a Classic, you want to get another one, upgrade, you want an Elite or Signature, or it's your first rodeo and you want to get the best of the best right off the bat, you may as well save $1,000 on that just by commenting cash. Now, this does not apply to specials or promotions. However, if you comment cash, make sure to work with you as long as it is a base building of the Elite or Signature or whatever you are looking to get. As long as it's not a promotional piece, you get $1,000 off. And you could even bundle this wonderful everyday deal if you fall into one of these workforce categories for a whopping $1,500 off your next Mallett building. Now, so speaking of specials and promotions, we are doing weekly promotions all throughout March. We're calling it our March Madness deal. And I'm pretty sure you're gonna think we're crazy because these deals are wild and they're pretty flippin' good. So, 1 week only, we are doing these start to finish Monday through Sunday, you guys, so make sure you pay attention. This week only for an Elite building, we just talked about that being the best of the best, and we're gonna go over it a little more. A 30 by 50 by 12 Elite building for $46,750, but you get a free 10-foot gable extension. So that pushes that building out to pretty much a 30 by 60 because you get a 10-foot gable for free. Guys, that Elite's gonna come with gutters, single bubble insulation, ridge vents, post protectors, and that 10-year workmanship warranty we talked about, as well as 6-inch 4,000 PSI concrete, not 4-inch, 6-inch. And we've recently learned that 6-inch concrete is twice as strong as the 4-inch concrete. Not 1.5 as we used to say, we've learned that it is over double as strong. We're also gonna get 2 3x5 windows. We're gonna get 2 12x10 roll-up doors and a 36-inch wide walk-through door. So you get a bunch of features, and that's not even everything. There's also post protectors. There's also wainscot is optional. There's so many other features on the Elite, we couldn't put them all on here because it'd be too crammed. But you get all of this week only, and that is 300 square foot of covered porch space or whatever you want to use your gable extension for, which is an $8,000 value, guys. We're throwing that in there for free this week only. So you get the best building we can offer, the best building in the country, $8,000 off because you get that gable extension for free. And that's $46,750 this week only. Come Sunday, you can't have this anymore. I'm sorry if you waited that long, but make sure you get your name on the books. Make sure you give us a call at 337-214-0428 because this is the only week we're doing this. Next week, we're gonna have another deal. So be sure you get your 30 by 50 by 12 Elite building this week. Sound good? Awesome. Moving right along, we have the Cajun Oasis Classic, you guys. Again, it's not gonna be here much longer, but while it is, let's talk about it. We talked about our classic building earlier. That is what this Oasis is. It's also going to be a 30 by 50 by 12 for $49,999. Now, what does this include? It includes insulation as well, plus a climate control package, a basic electrical package, and a 5-ton wall mounted unit, as you can see here. If you've ever been on property, we have several offices around the property that are also this Cajun Oasis. So if you need to see it in person, come on down. Now, that electrical package and 5-ton unit together are going to be a $16,000 value, guys, all thrown in. So not only is the Cajun Oasis beautiful and an oasis of a building, it's super affordable because you get $16,000 in value as well. And if you're interested in spray foam, we have that available also. You can just ask about that. So you're going to get the classic version of the Cajun Oasis, $49,999. Now, I know I just showed you the Elite, and if you think, man, I really wish this was in the Elite, wish granted. We have the Cajun Oasis Elite. It also has that $16,000 value. It also has the same price features included: insulation, climate control, 5-ton unit, and electrical package. You could even ask for spray foam. But this is also a 30 by 50 by 12. It is $59,999 because we add all of this plus all of the premium Elite features that you've come to know and love, some of which are visible here. You have the additional windows, the 3x5s, you have a roll-up door, you have the walk-through door, you have the gutters, you have the wainscoting, you're gonna get the post protectors, you're gonna get the 6-inch concrete, and many, many more features as well. Plus, the Elite is a 160-mile-an-hour wind load rated building with a 170-mile-an-hour wind load rating on the roof system. Mr. Darrell's gonna talk a little bit more about the trusses later, and those are just one of the pieces that play a part in this wind rating here, but you cannot go wrong with the Elite, you guys. It is the best of the best from the best, and we'd love to help you get into it. So if you want a Cajun Oasis, this thing is ready when it's done. All you gotta do is hook the power up, turn the lights on, because everything is good. You've got receptacles, you've got heating, cooling, insulation. You can make it a he shed, she shed, workshop, in-law suite. You could even live in it yourself. You can make it a home gym, a home office, a work from home. Whatever your vision, if it can fit in a 30 by 50, this thing can get it done. So be sure to give us a call, 337-214-0428, or visit us online at mallettbuildings.com and get your quote started while the Oasis still lasts. So when you are looking for a builder, and even if it's us, we want you to follow what we call the 5 red flags. This is essentially a checklist that we've created to help make sure you make an educated decision on picking a builder. And we know that you're going to be looking at reviews on Amazon. We know you're going to be looking at people's opinions on everything. Your builder should be no different. So this is a checklist of things you should look forward to and how we've seen people get burned in the past and want to help you not have that issue in the future. So moving along to red flag number 1, years in business. You can find this at the Secretary of State website. And you're going to want to make sure, first and foremost, they pop up on the Secretary of State website, because if they don't, they're not a licensed business. And that means they shouldn't be doing business because they're not a business. Makes sense? So make sure they pop up. And if they do show up, that's awesome. See how long they've been there. Here at Mallett, we've been around for 27 years. That is a huge milestone, especially in this industry. And we realize everyone has to start somewhere, but if their warranty's longer than the time they've been around, that could be a red flag. And that's just something we want you to look out for. So, speaking of licensure, if you visit the Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors, or the LSLBC, you're going to be able to see what kind of licenses they hold. Like I mentioned earlier, we are a licensed engineering firm. We're also ready for commercial, residential, industrial, all sorts of different types of licenses. You want to make sure the person you're considered doing business with has those proper licenses as well, because if they're not able to do that type of work, they shouldn't be doing that work on your property. So check that out at the LSLBC, and while you're there, look up contractor violations. Unfortunately, most people around here in this industry do have at least one contractor violation. Now, if they're not going to be upfront with you about it, you at least have the right to know what that is, and you can check that at the LSLBC. We're proud to say here at Mallett, over 27 years of business, we have 0 contractor violations. We're incredibly proud of that, because we're one of the few, if not the only one, who can say that. And we plan to continue to have that happen throughout the entirety of our being here. Now, if they keep that from you, that could be a red flag, but you're more than welcome to check it out at the LSLBC. Now, red flag number 4, reviews on the BBB and Google. Between the two, we have over 700 reviews, as well as an A+ rating on the Better Business Bureau. We want you to check out all the reviews, good and bad, though there's much, much more. 98% of those are good, positive 5-star reviews. We understand not everyone has a pleasant experience, and we want you to see what they went through, both good and bad, and see how we responded to both of those, because we know there's 2 sides to every story, and we want you to make that decision and educated thoughts yourself. So be sure to check those reviews out, and check out other people as well, because you can learn a lot from what the public has to say. Moving forward, we want to finish off with visiting the facility. Now, why is this a potential red flag? I consider it more of a checklist, because again, not everyone has the facility we do here at Mallett. Here we have our roll form plant, where we make all of our trusses in-house. Most other people are going to be sourcing their trusses from third-party companies, and they're essentially just a middleman. Here at Mallett, we cut that out and we make everything here in-house. That's also why we're able to do our 5-on-12 cathedral trusses. Aside from that, we have the roll form plant coming along very nicely. We have our packing plant, where we load and ship everything. We have the gutter operation, where we're making all the gutters here in-house, as well as much, much more. You can come check it all out here on a tour. It takes about 15-20 minutes to walk around and see everything, and it's always a fun time. Plus, on top of that, you get to meet the team. You get to meet the designers, meet the engineers, meet the people who are going to be putting your building together, meet your building specialist if you haven't already. And anyone else. Mr. Lee is here all the time, you guys. You can meet Mr. Mallett himself, and you just get to shake hands and talk to people. It's always a great time. We love to see you, so come on in, ring our bell at the front, and we'll be ready to help you. Love to earn your business. But that is it for me. We're going to turn it over to Mr. Darrell, and he's going to talk about Truss and Verify.
Hey, I'm Darrell Cassell, the engineer here at Mallett, and today's title, we're talking about trusses, Truss and Verify, which, if you will notice, is a pun, and I guess a pun is a clever misuse of a word on purpose, and I guess how clever it is just depending on who you are. So with that in mind, I wanted to share with you just a few corny puns that, as you know, I like. How many feet are there in a yard? It depends on how many people are standing there. Why did the photograph go to jail? It was framed. 2 kittens had a big fight. It was a catastrophe. What do you call a cow missing a leg? Lean beef. Here's one for Tyler. Tyler is fixing to get married. How how did the phone propose to his girlfriend? He gave her a ring. Why do melons get married in church? Because they cantaloupe. Okay. And which king loved to do fractions? Henry VIII. Okay, that's enough for one day. So I was thinking about what to talk about, and so I went on today, and so I went on the NFBA website. Now, NFBA stands for National Frame Builders Association, and we are members of that organization. Mr. Mallett has been a member of that organization for a long, long time, and it's all about post-frame construction. And on that website, they have articles, and one of the articles was written by an engineer, Mr. Bill Bolduc, and he it says here, let me give credit where credit is due here. It says he is the principal, he's a registered professional engineer in 31 states, 5 provinces of Canada, and so he wrote this article about trusses. And in there, he gave a list of 6 things about the metal plate connectors. And so what I did was I looked through this article, and then I took some photos of our trusses. And so we're going to see how our trusses measure up to Mr. Bolduc's expertise. And so this is a photo of two types of trusses that just happen to be leaning one up against the other at our facility. And so that's one view of it, overall view of it, and that's another overall view of it, a little closer. And so the one thing that he says that you need specialized engineering for the truss design. Now, as I've said, so I stamp the building plan drawings, but we have another engineer that's affiliated with the design program that we use for the trusses that stamps those trusses. And so we provide stamped engineering plans on the building and stamped engineering plans for the trusses. And those stamped plans show the dimensions of the truss. It shows the size of the plates and where the plates are supposed to be placed. And so we comply with that. And we also, as I've told you before, we also are certified as a truss supplier for the city of Houston, which has a very rigorous process to become a certified supplier. And the way that we do that is that we have a third-party inspector that comes and inspects the construction of our trusses from time to time. But these trusses are just, they're constructed at a very high level. And so that's, the first component that he talks about is the engineered truss drawings. So check, we do that. And then the second thing is the truss lumber. Now you can see from this close-up that this is, you see that there are some knots in this lumber. Well, all lumber has knots. But this is, this is number 1 lumber as opposed to number 2. I don't even know if you can buy number 1 lumber at Home Depot. Most lumber is number 2. I've been involved in engineering and construction for 40 years. In fact, I got my first job 40 years ago this month. And so, and I didn't even know I'd never even heard of anyone using number one lumber before I came to work here. And so it's not common at all. It's because it's the good stuff and it costs a lot. And so this is number one kiln dried MCA ground treated lumber. And you've heard us say that. And that ground treated means that it's literally treated to the point that it could be in contact with the ground, even though it's going to be stuck way up in the air. And so that's the lumber that we use. And so we use lumber that far exceeds the standards that it would need to meet to be acceptable. So that's check number two. Then number three is the connections using metal connector plates. Now that's what we use. And we use these connector plates, and you see they're here on this newer scissor truss, and also you see some of it on this older common truss. And so Mr. Bolduc had 6 criteria about the clay of these plates. The plate must be the type and size specified on the truss design drawing. Now, I want you to notice that this newer truss has larger plates, and the common truss that we used to build has smaller plates. So recently, in the last months, we have changed from a 5-foot space, from a 3-foot spacing to a 5-foot spacing on our trusses. And the reason that we did that, and some people have complained, and they're not getting the bang for their buck. Well, the short answer to that is that because we're using 2x8 trusses, 2x8 top cord and bottom cord, 2x8 webbing, because we're using that stout member, all we had to do to get this truss, this 30-foot truss, to be rated for 160 miles an hour, all we had to do is change the plate size. And so that's what we did. So we're at 5-foot spacing, and we're good for 160 miles an hour. Even if you're building a building that's 130 miles an hour area, you're still having you're buying 160. You're getting 160 mile an hour truss for your money. And so it's a very but this illustrates that change, because you see that these plates are smaller because and that's what was required for a lower wind rating. But when we went up to a larger wind rating, the computer program instructed us to put bigger plates, and so we did. Now, the other thing about the plates that you'll notice, that you'll see these sometimes in the old common trusses, you'll see that we spliced the wood and we used plate there. Well, we eliminated that splice because it was just a matter of shifting things a little bit in the computer program. So we don't have those splices in the bottom cords anymore, so that it's much stronger there. So anyway, that's just a little bit of stuff not related to this article, but not related to the list. But so the plate, number one, the plate must be the type and size specified on the truss design drawing. Check. The plate must be located on the joint as specified on the truss design drawing. Check. The plate must be properly pressed into sound wood. In other words, you wouldn't want a lot of knots where the plate was going. And so we say check to that, because we don't have a lot of knots in our number one kiln dried lumber. And then there should be only a limited area of knots, wane, holes, etc. in the area where the metal plate grips onto the lumber. The plates must be installed on both faces of each truss connector. Check. And the plates must be completely embedded into the truss lumber with little tolerance. And so here you see some close-ups of the plate, and here you see that there are no knots and that there are no gaps. The plates are well pressed into that lumber. If you ever tune in to our show and you hear banging in the background, which you often will, that's the hammer hitting the plates and pressing it into the lumber. That's what that is. See, there's another one. No knots, no gaps. That green thing is the strap tying this bundle of trusses together. Once again, no knots, no gaps. No knots, no gaps. No knots, no gaps. No knots, no gaps. And then the other thing that I forgot to mention was that the lumber needs to be cut so that everything fits together. And you'll notice here that everything fits just perfectly in these trusses. If you look at the overall view that we looked at, you'll just see that everything is tight as tight can be. Everything's just perfect. Well, how do we do that? Well, we do that by cutting. We have a machine. We have a computerized saw that cuts the lumber for us. And there's a picture of the saw without any lumber on it. And that's how we get these angles cut so perfectly. And then we have a big table. They probably showed you a picture of the table before. They were welding on the table today. They were doing some work on it. And so that's why I couldn't take a picture of it. But, and so that's how we get these trusses built so well. The cut lumber pieces must fit closely together at each joint as shown on the truss design drawing. So check 6 checks there, okay? And so, and then in this article, Mr. Polduck mentions that the plates must be completely embedded into the truss lumber. And he found a chart in ANSI, that American National Standards, that if you have as much as between a 1/32 of an inch to 1/16 of an inch lack of embedment or gap in that truss plate, that the strength could be compromised by as much as 60% in that portion of the plate. And so it's very important. And then, so we just have checks all over the place. And then the last thing, now this photo will make you dizzy if you look at it too long, but the last thing that he mentions in this article is the importance of lateral bracing where called for in the trusses. Now, the lateral bracing, this is looking up and at the truss, and you see this board that's running through here, this board that's running through here. That's the lateral bracing of the truss, and it says. The track record for wood trusses is good, but some building failures have occurred. Failures usually occur when the roof is heavily loaded by snow or in high wind events. Now, we've never lost a Mallett building to a hurricane, and so we've never had any failures like that. But it says, upon investigation of failures, the lack of proper installation of the lateral restraint and or bracing is a common cause. And so we have that lateral bracing on our trusses. And this is just a picture of some of our trusses. And that lateral bracing is there. In some of the photos, it may not be all the way through, but they weren't finished at the time. So anyway, so the bottom line is this article was written by an expert about how your trusses should be built and how they should be designed, how they should be built. And we do all the things that they say, and we go a little bit further than we need to provide just a tremendous product here at Mallett Building. And so that's why I tell you all the time that it is a very cost-efficient, cost-effective, and efficient engineering, effective type of construction. And that's why you need to buy a Mallett building if you're looking for a Mallett building. If you're looking for a Mallett building to make into a barndominium, just come talk to us and we can get you started. Well, y'all have a good week, and hope you have lots of puns in your life. See you next week.